Hello and welcome to this session for BOM Art and Tech Social. I'm Katie Day and I'm the Artistic Director of The Other Way Works, a theatre company based in Birmingham that makes interactive and immersive theatre, often site-specific and often using new technologies. And
I'm John Sear. I am a real-world game designer. I used to make games for Xbox and PlayStation, and then for the last decade I've made games that take place in the real world in some respect.
Great. So we're following on from session 1 on this same topic. So this is based on our production of A Moment of Madness that John and I have collaborated on for quite a while to bring it to life. And recently this year in 2021, we've adapted it for online. So at the end of the previous workshop, we set this particular task. So we suggested that everybody could explore this activity.
I screen share it for you.
John's just screen sharing.
It's that one.
Great. So the activity is to brainstorm an idea for a side mission involving one of the following characters, where the reward for completing it for the audience or player is to find more evidence about Michael Makerson. So Michael Makerson is our main character in the production A Moment of Madness, and we're just really asking people to come up with some ideas for how we could learn more about him via some characters who are like minor parts in the show. They don't really have much of a role at the moment, and these are Mina Varma, who's a wig maker, Kevin Brown, who's just only really known as Badger Man, Saad Kissar, who has a slightly larger role, and the Honourable John Stewart. So we know a little bit more about the last two, so we've sort of leave those aside, and we thought it'd be good to focus on Mina Varma.
And actually the players get almost like a little book of suspects when they sit down to kind of look at the CCTV footage. And so these are 4 characters that we think Michael is meeting in the car park. And as Katie was saying, we haven't really done very much with Mina or Kevin, so I think they're the ones we'll focus on today. Saad and Honourable John have a slightly bigger part to play. Let me go to the other slide.
So as a kind of starting point, we've sort of just pulled together a few ideas for potential kind of mini missions, side missions, or new content. So I guess we have a few of these in the production already, and the idea is that we could come up with some ideas for some new ones. So these are kind of small side things that just kind of unlock a small amount of content and just tell us a little bit more about the story, develop that a bit, and then bring us back into the kind of main line of the narrative. So yeah, there's lots of different ideas we could have. So I think we were going to talk about Mina today and ideas for Mina. Yeah, it might be useful to see a picture of Mina, that slide.
We can pull that up.
Should we do that? So this is Mina Varma, our character, and this is the security service MI5 kind of briefing dossier that gives you a little bit of information about the characters. So as you can see, she's a celebrity hairdresser and wig maker. And the reason why we think she might be meeting Michael Makerson in the car park is that they think that possibly Michael Makerson and Mina Varma might be having some kind of secret affair that goes beyond the professional wig maker client relationship. We know that Michael's been seeing her for a long time for getting some help for his premature baldness. Of course, Michael doesn't wear a wig. He would be quick to tell you. They've got a very close relationship. He sees her every few months for a new wig or fitting.
I mean, I don't think we'd ever decided if they were actually having an affair. Normally, most things we've got an answer to, right, in a kind of story world.
Yeah, there's no cut and dry answer to it.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
the rest of the narrative may suggest that this wouldn't be his choice, but you know, who knows with Michael. So yeah, I mean, he could be within the world of the story. We don't know. So yeah, we just feel like maybe he could be having an affair, and that would be a problem because it would be bad for his reputation as an MP. You know, personal affair scandals can, as recent news would attest, be problematic for your career. So we also know that she charges a lot of money for these wigs, and that he's a very important client to her. That's kind of all we really know about her at the moment. So now we're going to sort of think about some ways that we could find out more about her, but also more about Michael through her, which is sort of the main point, really.
Yeah, I mean, currently she gets dismissed quite quickly, really, because she's not very involved in the game. But her main role is that players mistakenly see her. Whenever they see a woman in the car park, they sort of immediately assume that it's Mina. So that's her main role in the game at the moment, is just almost like a red herring. So it'd be nice to have a little bit more to her than that.
Yeah. So I think we have another slide that just gives us a bit of, we came up with a few ideas for how we could find out more about her, basically. What could our side kind of content mission be? So this is examples of potential missions or new content. So do you want to talk about the first one?
Yeah, so Jimmy is Sard's security man, essentially. And so Sard is a more major character in the game. And towards the end of the game, we have Jimmy make a threatening phone call to the players. So we actually kind of force the phone call. Their phone rings, they look at it, they see a number that they don't know, and then it's kind of up to them whether they pick up the phone and listen to that call. And we designed that in such a way that it feels like Jimmy is kind of talking at you, so there's not really much opportunity to kind of talk back. So it's a very much a one-way conversation. The technical system behind it allows us to see if Jimmy has actually got through to the person, through to the player, and whether the player has listened to it. So sometimes what we'll do is, if there's time, if they haven't answered the call to Jimmy, Jimmy can continually phone them and kind of bombard them if we like. Depends how we're feeling, I guess.
So that kind of works for somebody who is like phoning up with a tirade or has got something where basically you can't answer them, because if you need to answer them, then it quite quickly exposes the fact that this isn't a real phone call. This is a pre-recorded MP3 file. So you can only really use this for certain kinds of content, I think. So in terms of Mina and now, I don't know that I can think of anything unless she was sort of sending some whispered message to you. But to be honest, I don't know why Mina's phoning you. So I think this is probably not a good.
Normally, there needs to be a trigger first, right? The player would have had to have done something to be rewarded with a Mina phone call.
So that's true. Yeah. So that could happen. There could be some. She could be phoning you to deliver something. Yeah, we're not going to do that one right now. Other options are we could think about characters, sort of something in the CCTV area. I think we have a few options for this, where maybe there might be video footage of her maybe meeting Michael.
Or at least being in the same place, right? The fact that she's in the car park doing something, she could have another meeting in the area.
Yeah, so we could see her on CCTV, maybe in the car park. She could meet him, or she could be doing something else. Yeah, or also there could be other surveillance locations. So, for example, we thought about a doorbell camera. Yeah,
like the Ring doorbell camera. Maybe we could have somehow that footage has been saved in the cloud, and we've got access to that, so that can involve her, or maybe it's her own Ring doorbell camera that Michael's come up to.
Yeah, that Michael's there, or she's come to his house, or something that shows a connection between
them. It's quite nice to record that, right? To have that recording where you can sort of, she'd be off camera because she'd be inside her house, and he'd be there pleading or whatever he's doing on the doorstep.
Banging on the door for a wig. I need a slightly blonder wig for my speech. Yeah.
That requires us to go back into the film studio to
yeah, I don't think we're going to be filming that today because we don't have access to Michael,
no.
Our character. So, yeah. Other options are something else that we use in the production is a kind of SMS chat. So John, I think, went into quite a lot of detail in the first session about how the SMS chat works with our character Andrea, which is an interactive chat system.
Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, you can do this in your own games just by using a phone. And often, Katie and I have done this when we've been mocking things up. One of us will play a character on the phone, manually typing the messages in, or doing some kind of link with your phone to your laptop so you can, use a proper keyboard to type things in. But certainly while you're developing it, we might just do it entirely interactively. And then later on, try and distill that down into the conversation that we would put into our system, which is, like we said there, almost like a choose your own adventure style chatbot, where whoever's operating it is really choosing from a number of set responses and augmenting those a little bit, rather than having to write every single thing fresh from memory, as it were.
And I mean, I guess you could kind of code that into an actual automated chatbot bot that would not be as responsive, but could provide a basic yes, no, whatever. I mean, I guess that might either involve a bit of coding or finding a program that would allow you to.
I mean, those things are generally more worthwhile when you're scaling the numbers of interactions, right? If we had thousands of people playing our game, then having something that was entirely automated would be great. I think what we quite like is that there's no boundaries for the players. So we talked about this again more in the previous session, which is whatever the players type in their free text chat on their phone, we will respond to. If they ask Andrea out on a date, then Andrea can respond to that. Whereas you might not have thought of that when you built your AI chatbot, or it might not work quite so well with the slang that's being used, for instance.
So we did think there was an idea that came out of the first session, which was pretty exciting and quite wacky, which was that maybe Mina might have installed a bug of some sort in a wig, in one of Michael's wigs. And so maybe it could either have a microphone, so it was maybe audio recording him, or it could be like a GPS tracker or something like that. We were wondering about whether we could either end up texting Mina about this, and then maybe could build a sort of a small chatbot kind of interaction with Mina around that, or maybe we could work with a system, a GPS kind of imaginary GPS logging system that could report his location if you texted the date and time or phoned up and asked the date and time.
That'd be quite nice. Like we were saying before, this idea that in a lot of the kind of modern shows like A Line of Duty, the characters are fully aware that their phone is tracking them and they're going to get that data to follow them. So what the character will do is when they're going off to do something secretive or illegal, is they'll deliberately leave their phone off, or they'll leave it at home while they go and do something else. So the fact that Mina would have some sort of supplementary information of his GPS whereabouts or voice recording or something, audio recording that counteracts where his phone is quite interesting. Because then not only was he not where he was supposed to be, but he's also tried to cover his tracks as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah. So yeah, if we had a point where we were really trying to prove a time and place location, that would be a useful thing to build in. Sorry. Other things that we could look at are things like documents. So we have a lot of documents in the production already, which are kind of characterized, if you like, information characterized in different styles. So things like WhatsApp messages, news articles, business cards, and so on and so on. So that's something that we could look at, just creating a new document that somehow involved Mina.
Yeah, I mean, it's just nice for the players to have some kind of physical evidence, right? That they hold. Lots of things in the experience are suggestive of what Michael's up to. So when you get these kind of documents, you go, okay, we've got some actual proof of what he's been doing. So that's really nice. So yeah, so what other things Mina might have? Perhaps they went to a show together, so there's tickets when they were both at something together, those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, you could see some of her receipts of her the wigs, but bills.
The bills for the
it
wigs.
Depends on what you're trying to prove, I guess, because that's only just proves that he wears a wig. So yeah, you could, I suppose, like you say, it could be more proof of the fact that they were doing something that could be construed as beyond professional. Yeah, like you said, but it's going out somewhere together.
Yeah, things that we haven't already used, I guess, because we use things like bank accounts and things and WhatsApp messages. And,
yeah, well, I mean, I guess you could have them stay in a hotel or something, and then you could have a hotel receipt that you somehow get hold of.
Yeah, so we could do that.
I did that in a previous show. You have a hotel receipt in back to a car show.
It's not very interesting to watch us build one of those, though, I guess.
No. I already know what I'd put on it as well, because I've already worked out that puzzle of what you put on a hotel receipt. Anyway, okay, so there's also other things that are like autoresponders.
So these are slightly simpler ideas, really. These are things
we are struggling. It says if
are.
the team is struggling. I think we are struggling.
I think that was probably a note we weren't supposed to put on the slide. But no, this was if we wanted to get to a finished thing, rather than just talk about it really and come up with a concept for it.
Yeah.
So autoresponders are quite nice, because it's just if this thing happens, then this thing gets sent back, or this audio is played. So we've got some of these in the show already. I'm not sure anyone did this, because we don't have any way of kind of checking, or we've not logged into the email account, to be fair. We have an email account for Sabrina. You can message her and you'll get an autoresponder about where she's on holiday, right? So you'll get a bit of characterization, a bit of flavor of what she's like and where she is. And a number of characters have got voicemail. We can probably show you an example of one of those. But someone like Sard, you can call, and even though there's not much to be found out, you at least get to hear his voice, and there's some information that comes through that. The most important one is the Sabrina voicemail message, but that becomes a voicemail hacking puzzle, so that's a bit.
Should we listen to the SARS?
Yes, let's do that. So this is the voicemail you hear from Sard when you dial his phone number, just from a normal phone.
This is Saad, sir. If you can't reach me on this number, try Toyhal's European office, or I'll be back in Riyadh next week.
No, it's very short, actually, isn't it? And then I guess you'll get an error message afterwards. But you do get a bit of flavour there of like, what's he up to?
Error. Mailbox full. Please delete stored messages. Goodbye.
That's just a way of stopping players from leaving messages. We could actually have them recorded, but it just didn't seem worth having those to look through. Okay, so of those tasks, we've obviously chosen to do the most simple one, so that we actually get to an end result. So we're hoping to have an actual voicemail message that works. So we're gonna do that for Mina now. So we're gonna talk through the process that we go through to add this Mina side quest, as it were.
Okay, so we're going to talk about it there. So we're going to record an autoresponder voicemail. So it's like when you phone somebody up, when I phone Mina up, it's the message that you hear when you call her number and she doesn't pick up. Yeah.
And obviously she could just say, "Hi, this is Mina, I'm not here."
Yeah.
But that doesn't really add very much to the game, right? So it's kind of how much can we squeeze into those like 20 seconds?
Yeah.
There's no way for the player to have any further interaction. So it's only a one-way, like you say, an autoresponder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's just squeezing out as much value from this content item as possible. So I guess what we'd probably do is start off by just asking ourselves some questions about, what the content is, what it's for, how it fits with the rest of the experience. So I guess a good question to start with is, why are we, the player, the audience member, why are we calling Mina, and what can she tell us?
So from the suspect sheet, right, the suspicion is there's an affair. So I guess that's the thing we're either trying to confirm or deny. And
whether she's in the car park, I guess, maybe.
Whether she could be local to it, so that whether that could come through. I mean, she's not going to admit to an affair on her voicemail message. "Hi, this is Mina. By the way, I'm having an affair with Michael." No. So it's not going to be quite as blatant as that, but it could, it's either going to confirm or deny, right? So it's either raise suspicion or somehow clear that a little bit.
So I think we probably talk a bit about whether what point in the experience this is coming, and so whether we're at a phase in the show where we're just trying to still complicate the story, because I guess we know that this isn't the main story that we're choosing, so this is a kind of side thing. So are we still at the point where we're trying to throw more options in the ring, or are we at the point where we're trying to slim things down and focus people in on what they're supposed to be doing, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, that's how most shows work, right? Most TV shows that do a kind of mystery thing is kind of like, right, everyone is a suspect at the beginning, and make a good case as to why everyone's a suspect. So I think that's fine. I think we can make her more suspicious at the beginning.
So we're nearer the beginning. We're going to make her more suspicious. So we're going to raise suspicion with this side mission. So
then I guess you can do things like really obvious things, like Michael could be in the background of the voicemail, right? She could be recording it,
that's true.
And he could kind of just say something in the background, and that would really raise suspicion quite a lot. I mean, probably she would re-record.
Come back to bed, Nina! What are you doing?
Maybe I should re-record that message, Michael. Oh no, okay, let's go.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that would be quite obvious. I guess somehow we need to suggest, it would be useful maybe to suggest that they're going to be in the same place at the same time, or they have been. I mean, like, I guess a really obvious one is that you hear them in the same place at the same time. But
yeah, so she could be to wherever the game is set is where Michael is, right? So when we show it in Birmingham, Michael's press conference is in Birmingham. So she could be here as well.
Mm-hmm.
She could say that, no, I'm on my way to Birmingham for the weekend.
Yeah, she could say that. I guess that's maybe tricky if we normally tour this show.
Yeah, that is quite.
So we normally tour this to different cities. So we generally try not to create fixed content for the host city, because then you'd have to re-record that every time. So yeah, I mean, I guess another thing is that she could go and be with him somewhere where we know he also goes, like his house, maybe. Like, I guess he's an MP, so he has a London residence, but he also has his home, doesn't he, which belongs really to his wife.
Yeah, it's a family property.
So his wife has a home in the Scottish borders, which is in Tweeddale, and we kind of know about this from various pieces of evidence that we find. So I think she mentions it in a newspaper article about her when she talks to Donna Stripe in the news article. And the other thing is that he is the MP for Tweeddale, so that's his actual.
And what's Honourable John's got some kind of claim on it as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I guess it's the family home. I think she lives in it. Maybe he actually
lives in a wing,
inherits it or something, you know, in some kind of horrendous.
I mean, in our mind, there's a real place that they actually live in. Like, we've actually looked it up on the map and kind of chosen.
Yeah, we looked it up. There's a place with like a private botanical garden that used to be. Actually, I think it's public now, but that looked ideal. Like, we imagine that's where they'd be, and maybe she'd run that as a side project, a botanical garden. Anyway, Sabrina. So yeah, his home is there, and that's where he's an MP. So we've seen that written on. There's a Guardian article that reports about when he becomes an MP, a fake Guardian article, and it says on it Tweeddale in the location. So we know a few clues about that.
The other one is when you phone Sabrina's voicemail, which is Makerson's home phone number. What will happen is your phone will figure out where it is, and it will actually pop up on your phone with the location. So it will say Peebles, which is the town in Tweeddale.
The town in the area of Tweeddale, yeah.
Okay, so now we know a lot about Tweeddale. So Nina.
So maybe the players have picked that up a little bit. They have some sense maybe that Michael Makerson's has his actual family home is there. So we know that a little bit. So maybe we could have Mina going to that area and being with, then we guess that that's who she's going to be with because of all the context.
I mean, it does say, right, that they have a kind of bohemian marriage arrangement, I think, anyway.
Yeah.
So it might not be too suspicious
No.
to the characters. But yeah, the idea that, yeah, she's in a hotel nearby and he's sneaking out to see her, some kind of long-term arrangement, that could be suggested.
Yeah.
But as you point out right now, Michael is in the town where the game is being played,
Yeah.
right? So he's in Birmingham or London or whatever. So
Yeah.
the fact that
So-
she's in Tweeddale.
But she could just be going for the weekend after he finishes the announcement. I don't know. Maybe he could be going back there.
Yeah, or this is the message. This is what they've just done. Yeah. So
Or what they've just done. Yeah, that's true.
so they've met there. He's come down to do some of his stuff, and then he's gone back, or he was just there and he's come down. That seems reasonable.
Yeah.
So as long as whatever the voicemail she leaves doesn't say right now I'm in Tweeddale, because that doesn't really help us, because Michael's in Birmingham, say, just that she was there or she's going there. I think that's
Okay.
fine.
So we might kind of guess then. So at this point, I suppose we would then write a script, really, for this.
A functional script, I think, is probably what we would write.
We would write a functional script based on that information that we were trying to get across. So the key information that Mina was going to the place in Scotland, that she was, we'd try and maybe write a little bit of information we needed about her, that it, you know, somehow imply that it's got to do with Michael, find out some facts about the name of the hotel in Peebles, just in case people are really on it and look things up.
I mean, I guess the danger then is that the players find the hotel and actually phone the hotel.
That's true.
I mean, no, if it was a longer game, they might do that, but because this is quite time bound,
Yeah,
I suspect they don't
it's
actually.
unlikely.
That's a problem when you put things in the real world, right? Is there's a slight boundary there. But
Yes, especially if it plays over a longer period. Yeah, but yeah, as you say, the game is quite time bound.
Would get away with it. So she could mention a hotel, you know, just because the reception is bad. Don't call me. You know, there needs to be a reason she's leaving this voicemail message.
So maybe if we like improvise this a little bit, so it'd be like, I'm out of London for the weekend. I'm in the Scottish borders for an important client. I'm doing a home visit fitting.
Some kind of wig related task.
Yeah, so work related.
Yeah, something that she would mention, like she's not going to say I'm going up to see Michael, right? She's going to, but she does want to tell people she's away from London for the weekend and I'm back on Tuesday.
And the phone reception is bad, and so you can reach me at the we've looked it up, Tontine Hotel.
Nice.
In Peebles. So she could meet. So yeah, and then I guess the other thing is just maybe the idea that she could we could imply this is a regular thing, that she goes up there often.
Yeah, I mean he's going to need a new wig. Didn't we say that already? I think he gets a new wig every 3
I
months.
think it said on her profile.
Yeah,
So she's going to be doing a lot of fittings.
Yeah, certainly this isn't a thing she's going up as a one-off. That, as usual, you know, there's some kind of like regularity to it. It's quite nice. That raises the suspicion.
So I guess we do that, and then we maybe try and at some point we're going to maybe try and squeeze as much value out of this content as possible, but also just to say at this point we would write something functional and then we would give it to our collaborator writer.
Tim, in this case.
For this production, we've been working with Tim Wright as a writer to collaborate with, and we John and I may have done this together, or we may have done this as a three, sort of scoped out what the content was, and then but at this point we'd give it to Tim to kind of
He'd come back with a few ideas. It'd be a lot better than us, basically. It would work what we've written, but it wouldn't be obviously very characterized.
Yeah, or very funny.
Or very funny. We would try and be funny, but it wouldn't work, right?
So yeah, what Tim would generally then come back with is something that sounds like an actual character with a bit of sort of flavour to it. Probably a bit amusing. Yeah, and just a little bit more, just a bit more fiction in it, really, rather than just facts.
But then what would we'd be thinking about? So we'd take the kind of functional thing and then start to think more about, like we have done already, the why. Like, why is she doing this? She's doing this because her phone reception is going to be kind of rubbish, so that's why she needs to leave a message. And then I guess when is she recording this message? So when is, you know, like she's on her way up
So maybe she's on the train
or in a
or
car.
a car.
And so that might reflect in how she records it, the kind of language she uses or the background noise that's there.
Yeah, we could add sound effects as well to it afterwards, the recording. I mean, I guess it depends on whether it's like a personal number or a work number. So it could be more chatty, like.
It's nice to get a flavour of her, right? That's what's really nice about a voicemail, is just hearing her speak, even only for a few seconds. You instantly conjures up something, right? What she's like. So her mood, you know, is she happy to be doing this thing, or is this a really annoying thing she's doing?
Is it a drag? Yeah, and then you can see what kind of person she is a bit, because at the moment all we've seen is a picture, so we could hear her voice a bit, and you know, is she someone who's like quite bubbly and fun, or is she like quite serious? I don't know yet. We have to decide.
We'll wait for Tim to tell us.
We've got to decide ourselves today, John. We've actually got to do the work. And then, yeah, just look for any opportunities for comedy, because it's quite hard work, this game. So
I think we like to do that throughout, right? I think not everyone gets all the jokes that we put in there, but they make us smile because it's, you know, obviously it's political, it's quite dry, but the whole thing is quite silly. Like being a spy is quite silly, the romantic version of a spy. So I think any opportunity to get kind of references and jokes in there, we would do.
So yeah, we might also have her mention something in passing about like getting some joke about someone else famous who's bald, who might be getting a wig from her. So,
she could be talking to him in the background, or her in the background.
Yeah, you could hear some famous singer. I don't know who are those people from Right Said Fred. Really right wing, actually.
That'd be perfect.
Oh well, yeah, she does go in for the right wingers.
There we go. So we could have a Right Said Fred wig joke in there, and we get Tim to make that funny for us. And then I guess so we've already said that there can be other people in the background of the call. You know, she might then sort of go to hang out, but actually there's someone else shouts to her. You know, she's too busy to re-record it, so there could be some kind of conversation. Yeah,
I mean, I guess that would be maybe if she was at work when she was recording it rather than on the train. I guess she hasn't necessarily got on a client there on this particular one.
Yeah.
But but you could have something in the background that suggests where she is. Okay,
so then what we're going to do now, right, is we're going to try and do Tim's job. We're going to take the functional bit of text and make it a bit more characterized.
Yeah.
So that'll just take us a couple of minutes, and then we'll pause the video perhaps while we do that.
Yeah, okay, and then we'll record it.
When we come back, we'll be recording it.
Okay. Okay, so we've written the script.
Which I think probably explains why we need Tim here. I think you'll see very quickly while we get someone else to help us with this.
That is what collaboration is about. It's about working with people who have excellent strengths in particular areas. So I'm going to record this script now to create an MP3 file. So I think possibly the easiest way to do that is just to record it to a phone.
I guess if we weren't recording this on Zoom, we would have recorded this using Audacity straight into that. But let's just do this because this is better on camera.
At least you can see what I'm doing on the camera. So I've got like voice memos open on my iPhone. I was speaking to that, and then we can do something with the recording.
That's what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to make it work afterwards. Do the tech bit.
Okay. Right. I'm going to act. So I guess I would usually, just to say, get somebody who was more relevant to the character part than me. I am clearly not a woman of South Asian origin. So yeah, obviously, usually we'd work with an actor at this stage to record this, but for the example, I will speak it. I mean, I could get John to do it, but maybe I would at least go with a woman. We haven't decided what she's going to be like. Is she going to be friendly and happy, or a bit grumpy?
No, she's in a good mood, right? She's going off.
Okay, I'm just going to make her quite carefree.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Let's do with that. I'm happy with that.
Hi, this is Mina. I'm on the train out of London for the weekend in the Scottish borders, doing a home fitting for a client. phone reception is a nightmare up here. So if you need to get hold of me before Tuesday, call me at the Tontine Hotel in Peebles. I'm in my usual room. Bye.
Perfect. Good job.
Right, so now the recording exists and we're gonna transfer this file now.
So you'll send that to me and then we'll
Carry on.
carry on.
Okay. Okay, so I have sent that file to John by email, and John has opened it in Audacity, which is a free piece of software, and has just slightly clipped the ends and exported it as an MP3 file.
And technically changed the bitrate and stuff, but that doesn't really matter for this. So it seems to be the easiest way to send a file, right, via email.
Yeah. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to load it into a system that's going to allow us to actually use it like in the real world, so that our players are going to be able to phone a phone number and actually hear this playback like an actual answer phone. So that's the idea now. So for this magic, we need John.
So, I mean, there's a bunch of other systems out there that do this for us, and we're going to use Twilio. They're sort of the biggest in this world. So if you wanted to make these kind of things and have it work in every country around the world, they're kind of sort of go-to people, and we've been using them for 5 or 6 years.
They seem very dependable.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't been involved in the detail, but there doesn't seem to go wrong with them.
No, they're pretty good. We get some emails about billing. That's about it, right? That's what happens. So let me share my browser again, which I think is this one. Some sound as well later. So, so we're logged in to the Other Way Works Twilio account. And there's loads of stuff here you probably shouldn't be looking at, but never mind. So what we're going to do, so you can create yourself your own free account up front, and that allows you to have a bit of a play. And basically the system is that you buy a phone number for any place in the world that you want, and then when that phone number receives a voicemail, a voice call, or a text message, then you can have actions occur. So we're going to start by buying a phone number, which I've not done for a while. So let's see if we can remember how to do it. They're not very expensive. That's the good news. They normally have an upfront fee of like $1 or something, followed by, oh, hold on, let's get rid of this. Followed by a monthly fee if you keep them. So this has given us a load for, let's get one for the United Kingdom. I'm guessing that Mina exists in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, she lives in London.
She lives in London, and so then we can choose whether
mobile. Do they have mobile numbers now?
Yeah, you can have mobile numbers. Is it under advanced? Mobile. So let's get rid of toll free and get rid of local numbers. So this is how we were able to put Sabrina's voicemail in a particular location. So their home phone number is actually where they're from. Search. So these are all mobile phone style numbers, and we can choose any of these. You can look at the capabilities. We need one that does voice actually for this test. Sometimes we'll go through and like choose particularly nice numbers, but let's buy this one. See what happens.
Shows everyone my credit card details.
Excellent. Buy quick. So we're going to spend 75 cents on buying it, and then it's going to cost us 75 cents a month, which is actually cheaper, I think, than it was in the past. So maybe competition has driven down their prices. So then this is our number. I'm going to give it a friendly name for now, which is going to be Mina. And then I'm going to save it. This tells you all the stuff about it. And down here is where we can tell it what happens. When a call comes in, what happens? Well, what it does is it has a webhook. So it basically goes to this website for us and does what is ever there. Twilio uses its own little language called Twiml, So a markup language, so you can just kind of say exactly what you want in text, like an XML format. You can do all this stuff in code as well. So if you prefer to code in Python or C# or something, which is how we do A Moment of Madness.
When he says we, he means I.
Okay. Well, you're going to get to learn something now, which is
Yeah,
good.
well, that's good.
So we're going to use they've got a system now, like a drag and drop interface. So we're going to have a little play with that, which is called Twilio Studio. Twilio Studio.
Studio, yeah.
So the first thing we need to do is actually to take this audio file that you've recorded and stick that somewhere, which I opened up previously. So I've chosen assets, and I'm using the assets classic because this stuff was built before. And all this is we need to put our MP3 file somewhere online or somewhere in the cloud that we can access it. And actually, Twilio is quite nice in the fact it gives us a bit of space to use for free. So we're going to add a new asset, or I can drag it in. And I'm just going to choose the Mina one here and open that. And we can't see the bottom of it. We're just going to click upload. So there we are. So we can actually listen to that. So we can take a copy of that. And every time now we go to that link,
Hi, this is Mina. I'm on the train out of London for the weekend in the...
There we go. So that exists online now. And anyone that goes to that link, at least for the time being, will get to hear that voicemail message. So now what we're going to do is we're going to tie that up. There's a number of ways of doing that, like I said, but we're going to use their studio, and you build a thing called a flow. So I've gone into the studio menu, I'm adding a new flow, and we'll just call this, I guess, Mina test, just so we know what it is. And you can build, there's a load of starting examples you can build from. We're going to do something very, very simple. So we're going to start from scratch. And then this is the trigger, which we're going to hook up to our phone number in just a minute. But basically, when an incoming message arrives, what should we do? When an incoming call arrives, or when something else magic, which is the REST API, arrives, what do we do? So these are the triggers.
So this time, what is the trigger?
So the trigger is someone phoning us, right? They're not sending a text message. They're going to
phone. So they phone this number. So when somebody phones this number,
something happens, right?
Yeah.
So then we just have to decide what it is we want for them to do. And somewhere down here, we've got an option, say play, we're going to use. So you can have it do other stuff, right? Like you can have it, and they make an outgoing call. Like you could have it call someone else or record their voice message or whatever.
Okay.
But we're going to do something really simple. We're going to say or play. And what we can do is we can have it speak a voice, so like a computer style voice to us. We can just type in a message in this bit here, but we're going to have it play a message.
Because we have that amazing message.
And now I can paste that in. So hopefully that's the bit that we paste. That was the link to the asset.
Okay.
We uploaded. So I save that. And then
so that's just showing now. That's showing, that box is showing us the MP3 file that it's going to play it, but we haven't quite told it why yet.
So that's,
when.
So right? the trigger, that's right. Yeah, when. Yeah. So at the moment, it's got no reason to play it. It has an instruction to play it. We just haven't told it when to play it. So there we go. So we can drag that on, and this is just kind of visual coding, drag and drop. I mean, what's nice about drag and drop coding is it sort of stops you making really basic mistakes, like remembering, you know, what's the format for this function, this method, essentially. But, you know, visual coding gets really complicated when you do something more complicated.
Okay, but now it's saying there's an incoming call, and then you should play this.
Yep, so we're going to publish that. And it says we've made some changes, yep. And this is obviously a problem if you've got people currently using it. I don't think anyone's using Mina right now, so we'll be okay with that. So we might have to go back into this, into here to manage the numbers. Let's refresh this page. Let's go into Mina. We're going to need that phone number in a second. And then down here, hopefully, when a call comes in, we can choose what actually happens. What do we do? Well, we're going to, in this case, use one of the studio flows that we just created, and we've only got 2, right? We've got a Mina test.
Yeah, okay.
Ta-da! And that's it. So then we're going to save that. So that's all there is to it, actually. And as with all demos, this obviously won't work.
Does that
first.
exist? Can I call
So,
it?
yeah, you can call it. Yeah, have a go.
All right.
This is the nerve-wracking bit when you're like, have I done the 3 steps I was supposed to do, or have I forgotten something?
Has John got it wrong? Right. What's the number?
07883
Try this at home, kids.
287929.
Non-speaker.
Hi, this is Mina. I'm on the train out of London for the weekend in the Scottish borders doing a home fitting for a client. Phone reception is a nightmare up here, so if you need to get hold of me before Tuesday, call me at the Tontine Hotel in Peebles. I'm in my usual room. Bye.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
There we go. That's how you add some content to a moment of madness. A few minutes or less. Do you want to just finish up by showing the kind of more advanced example, like the Sabrina one?
Yeah.
Shall I look up the number, or do you know the number? So we've mentioned this one a few times, I think. I mean, I don't think we need to play it all, but just to show you that we do something a bit more advanced with this kind of same technology.
I'm not sure that I do know the number. I might need to look that up.
Okay, well, it will be in here, right?
Oh, well, yeah.
Since we're in our system. So if we scroll down, the Makerson residence in Tweeddale, it's 01721 540808.
Okay, so this is what you get if you phone Michael Makerson's home number.
Yeah, you think you're phoning Michael, and then you realise you get, oh no, you are phoning Sabrina, right? That's right.
Might have to look at the speaker.
This is the voicemail for Sadie, Mike, Jeff and Juliet. Friends of my brother should know he's no longer contactable via this number. If you're looking for Jeff or Juliet, please try their mobiles. If it's urgent, I can usually be tracked down via the CAM office. And if you're looking for Mike, well, good luck.
And so there's more to this now, right? So now this is a voice hacking puzzle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't press that. Was I supposed to?
No, that's fine, I think.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I was supposed to be pressing it.
Well, you can press it and show it if you want. Yeah. So what actually happens is that there is a kind of voicemail system where you can access your voicemails from home remotely by pressing star. So that's the system they've got on their house. So as soon as you dial in a second time, we would give you a hint in the game to say press star.
Okay, so
he's no longer contactable.
So I'm going to press star now.
Welcome to the automated voicemail service.
We've hacked it.
After the beep, please
Really?
enter your 4-digit passcode.
I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to enter it.
Thank you. You have 3 new messages and no saved messages. Message 1 received today at 9:43 a.m.
Michael, it's sad. What is this? I know that you're a government minister. You're too busy to see your old friends. Now look, we must get together. I've arranged with Sabrina for us all to have dinner next week. Just that.
Sad again. This time he's leaving a message. Yeah, so I guess that kind of shows, that's a good idea, because it shows you that you can just have the autoresponder message, but then because we've built in this kind of hacking system in Twilio, you've built that into Twilio, this whole kind of automated system, so that you can like put a code in, press star, put a code in, and then that kind of sort of serves as a gateway to access even more content.
Yeah, and I think when I
stop sharing, maybe.
Oh yeah, we can. So we built that a while ago, and it was all actually a lot harder back then. You had to kind of put the XML, the ML files, TWML, you had to put them on your own servers. You had to put the content on your own servers as well. And so all of that was like a lot more work. Whereas now you can do some of that stuff with a drag and drop interface.
Okay.
So you can, the content and the TWIML all goes in one place. So yeah, start by using the studio, and then there's a bunch of tutorials. The tutorials on the website are actually really good, and there's a little video. So once you've done a simple thing, then feel free to explore some more.
Yeah. So hopefully that's shown you a way of making a piece of digital interactive content that could be part of a kind of multimodal storytelling experience. And that's kind of how we've gone about making things for A Moment of Madness. Yeah, so that's kind of an example of how you could make that in the context of this production. But obviously, this can be applied to all kinds of different sort of story worlds or functional, like, narrative or documentary formats, or, training formats. You could use this.
It's just quite nice. It's just such a simple interface that way. Just dial a phone number and get a piece of audio content. I think you can just reuse that again and again, because if you can go into Twilio and just you could buy 10 different phone numbers and then put them on bits of paper around the city, or even, you could do some really simple things. Yeah. And you saw how quick it was just to add one.
So you could use this, to make a game, to make a story, all different kinds of audiences, all different types of content. So hopefully that shows you a little bit about the process that we might go through when we're trying to work out how to, just to kind of work out how to tell the story in a way that's slightly different to just standing, a conventional theatre way of telling a story, I suppose. Kind of using different modes of storytelling, different content, using technology.
Yeah, I think we would spend probably quite a lot longer than we have done just then, because it needs to fit in with the rest of our story world. We'd spend a long time making sure it all kinds of makes sense, right? Because it's very easy to kind of break something that's already working. So
yeah, I mean, I guess even there we were trying to reference the rest of the content in terms of, well, what locations do we know about in the show already, and can we use those again? And we were kind of cross-referencing with the documents that we'd already made to kind of know what we already know about Mina, so that we can break it. But yeah, I guess we're also trying to, rather than just sort of saying, does this break anything? It's more like, you're not just going to add something for the hell of it. It's
it has to have a meaning. Trying to
kind of map out a whole grand narrative that you're trying to communicate, and then work out how to communicate it. So like a little bit more front-facing, sort of targeted the content, rather than just sort of saying, what can we make about Mina? So it's a slightly artificial exercise, but I guess the micro process makes sense in terms of how we would work. Great. Well, thanks very much for watching, and good luck with all your missions that you choose to make.
And hopefully we can bring A Moment of Madness back again. So that, so if you haven't played it, you can come and experience it yourself.
Hopefully it may pop up online at some point again, or maybe even in the real world.
Who knows?
Okay. Bye.
Bye.